Okay, students, good evening. Students who are in the online, am I audible? Okay, so let us start the discussion. Very important. Yes, Ma, Brahmani, and Raki, and all of you who are asking me, how are you, sir? I'm fine. So I hope all of you are good. Reading Python, I think so. Fine. So let us move to the further. Shall we move further? Yeah, what is the topic name today? Exception handling. So topic name is right. Okay. So very important, students. Now I'm going to enter into the most important topic, exception handling. I'm going to discuss. Okay. So let us start discussing about exception handling in the class. So first we will talk about index. So this is our habit of doing in the class. So first we do about what is the purpose of exception handling. First starting point, always you understand purpose of what? Exception handling. Carefully understand purpose of exception handling. First point is that, right? Next we need to understand types of errors. Types of errors. Types of errors. What are those types? I'm just going to give you the clarity. Compile time errors. Compile time errors. Today we are learning a lot of things. Compile time errors. Be active in today's class because starting topic, it's a most important in real time scenarios, and especially in data science level, the exception handling. And this is a very important in Django and data science, in AI, machine learning, in every moment of it. Without exceptions, there is no real time applications. Okay. Compile time errors. Second is called what you know, logical errors. Logical errors. So coming to that, logical errors. Next C is called what you know, runtime errors. Runtime errors. Okay. And why these errors are coming? What is the importance of it? All of them we will discuss in the class. Next, we will talk about definition of exception. Definition of exception. Very important. Definition of exception. At the same time, definition of exception handling. Exception is different from exception handling. Students, be careful. Exception is completely different from exception handling. Okay, very, very important. Listen very carefully. At the end of the class, we must be so perfect in this area. Please concentrate well. Next, we are writing about syntax for handling exceptions. Syntax for handling the exceptions. Syntax for handling the exceptions. And next, we are going to learn about keywords used in exception handling. Keywords used in exception handling. There I am going to use it. First one I am going to explain. Try. Next is second is called what you know. Except. Those who are from Java background or any of the people learn, it is called catch. What is that? Catch. Next we are talking about third one is finally. Yeah, finally. Next we are talking about fourth else. Now I will write else here and finally later. Okay, finally. Next fifth is called what you know, raise. If it is a Java, there is a throw and throws is there. That is different. Throws and throw, that is different. Okay. Next, I will talk about after that types of exceptions. Types of exceptions. Types of exceptions, students. First one is called what you know, predefined exceptions. Predefined exceptions. Predefined exceptions. B is called what you know, programmer defined exceptions. Predefined exceptions. Programmer defined exceptions. We will talk about predefined exceptions and programmer defined exceptions. It is also known as what you know, custom defined, also called as user. Also called as what? Custom defined exceptions we can call. Custom defined exceptions we are going to see. Okay, students. Programmer or user or what you know, custom defined exceptions. We will talk about that. So syntax for handling followed by programming examples. In every moment of it, programming examples. Next we are talking about, I can say, of course I'm not boasting about my class. Most important in real time is how to develop our own exceptions. That is development of programmer defined exceptions. Programmer defined exceptions we can call. We are going to see immediately. Syntax programming examples I am going to talk about it. Programming examples followed by next ATM case study. This is what is our index. Once we able to do this type of index completion, you can develop, you will get an awareness about how to deal with any type of real-time things very, very easily, because this is one of the very powerful concept in the Python language. Okay, students. So don't feel sleepy. Feeling sleepy and try to listen the class. You will get exception. Programming exception, you leave it. You will get exception first. So that exception, if I want to handle, it's not possible. Programmatically, we can handle the exception. If you try to sleep, if I want to handle it is very difficult. That's why be careful. Try to learn very carefully. Now I will start. Students, anybody sleeping in the online? Anybody sleeping in online? Of course, sir. When they sleep in online, how can they wake up, sir? No, na? Okay. Never, sir. Very good. Sheikh Arif. Very good. So let us, Sagar. Very good. Okay. Rohit Jain. Very good. No. So let us start. Okay. Yes, Charan. Very good, ma'am. Really, I'm welcoming you. My goal is future caviar, sir. Charan, I'm really welcoming you. So I'm definitely helpful to you. If you are really explaining, like when you are going to be the next feature of mine, Really, I am welcoming you. Okay. Okay. Never before. Ever after sleeps are okay. Is that Kumar Babu? Is a fan of. Okay. Any. Huh? Fine, students. If I go on seeing that, they will go on saying a lot of things. So let us start. Serious? Start. Good. So let us start, students. Introduction to exception handling. Please try to respond, ma. Don't sit quiet and calm. All the people, keep your hands. All the students in the online, keep your hands on the keyboard. Hmm? Very good. Fine. No. Vamsi, not like that, ma. We cannot. We should not like that. Fine. So let us start. Okay. Now, in real time, to develop any project, you take Java project, .NET project, any project you take it. Such a type of projects, if you want to develop it, we must use certain language or we must use certain technology. Behind of every project development in real time, compulsory one language is required. Without language development, it is not a full-fledged project. And it is not a real-time project. If anybody develops a project using HTML, JavaScript and small things, that is only for 6 months, they need to rewrite that project. If they develop any project using language, 90% of the real-time projects, they will develop with languages only, with the technologies only. Suppose I want to develop a Java project, I will use servlets, JSP, etc. There I will use Java code. Compulsory that is. So without knowing Java, you can't develop a project. Suppose I want to develop a Django project. I want to develop a data science project. If I want to develop artificial intelligence project, compulsory what I should know? Python is compulsory. Without knowing Python language, you can't do anything else. Okay. So coming to the point of it, today when my morning batch started, I really wondered one head of the department of one big college faculty came to our class. I have 25 years. He is having 35 years of experience, it seems. 35. He was sitting there. After the classes are over, he came and asked me. I really felt a different way, but I felt maybe any son or daughter maybe coming like that. He came for care like that. I felt. But after that, he came and he introduced by himself. And I felt, okay, learning process is even when we big 60, 70 years also, we have to learn if something new. So he came and introduced by himself. He is doing his PhD, it seems now. He has taken the subject called data analytics. In that, he need the language called Python. So their college students last year belongs to our class, it seems. Their college students belongs to our class, it seems. He has seen the notes and all those things. And later he came today to our class. He was sitting that pillar side only. Later he introduced by himself. Okay. So like that, for learning Python is concerned nowadays mandatory. And it is gunshot for you, which you need to improve like anything. So coming to the topic. So I will continue, students. Look at that. To develop any real-time project, we must use a language. Okay. And by using the language, I can continue and carefully try to understand. By using the language, we develop, we compile, and we execute various programs. I'm starting from the bottom of the subject. We develop, we compile, and execute various programs. Okay. By using language, we develop, compile, and execute various programs. During this process, students, during this process, we get various errors. We get what? Various errors. We get various errors. They are classified into three types. Generally, according to our requirement, according to our academics, errors are classified into how many types? According to your college time and all, two types. One is compile time and next is runtime. So these errors you know, but we are having how many errors in real time? Three errors. What are those? First one I am writing three types of errors. One is called MATMA, compile time errors. Second one is called what? Logical errors. Third one is what? Very good. Runtime errors. This is called second one. So three types of errors are there. And on the top of it, at the end of the class or middle of the class, I will write the purpose of exception handling. Because our habit is what? On the top of it, every topic will have the aim. And a so-and-so topic is meant for what? Suppose when I learned data types, we have the aim of it. When we learned functions, we have the aim. When we learned modules, we have the aim. When we learned packages, we have the aim. Every moment I am telling the purpose or not. Why do you use packages? To make our library, to make it use across all the folders, networks, environments, everywhere else we used or not. Sys.path.append, Python path, using that we can use everywhere else or not. Yes, like that. So now I am talking about, to that development, we are talking about exception handling. So some additional type of capability we are learning it. So three types of errors are coming. After a few minutes of time, I will write the purpose of exception handling on the top of the line number 4. Line number 4, I will write the type of exception handling purpose. Okay, student, coming to the point back, next line I am writing. Sir, what is this compile time error? Can you explain? Yes, now I am going for that. First, I will talk about compile time errors. I will explain what is compile time error. See, student. Next, I will explain about, logical errors. I will explain logical errors. Okay. Next, I will explain about what, I will explain runtime errors. I will explain next runtime errors, This is runtime errors, of course. Next, I am going for runtime errors. Third one is called what, third one, runtime errors. Fine. So I will explain little slowly, because if I move quite fast, you cannot catch me. At the end of the class, we must be perfect like anything. I will write around 8 to 9 points in the class. Those points we are going to learn like anything. Finally, I will write it. Finally, after finishing that, I will write points to be remembered. Points to be remembered in exception handling. Points to be remembered in where? Exception handling. These points I am going to write it. So around so many number of points I am going to write it. So let us start with the compile time errors first. Very, very simple, students. Look at that. Compile time errors are those. Compile time errors are those which are occurring during what time? Compile time. Sir, what is a compile time, sir? Can anybody answer me? What is the compile time, sir? Can anybody ask me what is the compile time, sir? I just want to go for some small awareness for you. What is meant by compile time? Can anybody answer me? Do you know compile time? Python, come on, ma. Okay, ma, good. That is nice. I am writing. Compile time errors occurs due to syntax errors. Very nice. Due to what? Syntax errors. Are syntaxes not followed? Due to syntaxes are not followed. Syntaxes are not followed. That is correct. What is compile time? I am asking. What is a compile time? That is my question. Syntaxes, if you don't follow, you will get compile time errors. No doubt in that. What is a compile time? This is what is my question. I will see. Definitely online students will answer it. Excellent. Jahnavi, super you are. Jahnavi, you are very much perfect. See that Jahnavi is saying, converting the source code into intermediate code. Did I explain that? Explain or not explain? Everything is there in my notes. When I said day one only, I said. Any question comes in interview, it is there in my notes, I said. Why I am saying that much strongly? That is experience. That is the practical knowledge. Already said, diagram is written. .py, convert into .pyc, compile time. Yeah, Python compiler, line by line. Converting the source code into what? Intermediate code. What is an extension of intermediate code? Excellent. So, Jahnavi, very good mark, keep it up. .py into, what is that? .pyc. 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 Done. .py converted into what? .pyc. Very nice. Compile time errors are those which are occurring during compile time. Sir, what is compile time? Immediately converting the .py into that time. If any errors are there, errors will be shown. Please go to the program. I will show you immediately there. Go there and then say Python here, Python 3.10. See, my dear students, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus, I am saying. C is equal to A plus. Valid or invalid? Wrong. Invalid. Why? Plus operator is requiring what? Left side one and right side one. Left side one value is required, right side one value is required. Do you have right side? No. Python compiler immediately expecting plus left side required some value, right side also requires some value. Right side is missing, syntax is not matching. Immediately see that. What is that, ma? What is the syntax? Due to invalid syntaxes, what is coming? Compile time errors are occurring. Syntax errors are nothing but compile time errors only. Understand, students? Clarity is there? Yeah. Go to the back. Go to back. Compile time errors occurs. Why they are occurring? Due to syntaxes are not followed by programmer. Not followed by what? Programmer. Apply for all the languages. You apply this content for all the languages. Most powerful. For Java and Python you apply. You will do wonders. Very good. Coming to the next point. So who will solve these errors? Suppose this is a problem, I got it. Who will solve this? So generally, if it is a college, what we will do? We will call our friend. Friend, come here, I am getting error. So friend will come. Friend is saying, you have only one error, I have 20 errors. You come and solve my errors, you will say. Generally, I am talking about. So anyhow, you will say, okay, right side you are missing something. C is equal to A plus B and print of what? A comma B comma C. So I got what? Output I got it. Followed or not? Yeah. So who is solving that? Compile time errors. Compile time errors solved by compile time errors. Come on, ma. Solved by programmers at which level? Developmental level. At which level? Development level. At a development level only, compile time errors are solved by programmers at a development level. It is an important mark. Two levels are there. One is a development level, one more is the implementation level. One is a development level, one more is. So you are in which level of learning? You are developing. You are developing your knowledge. You are learning. Learning means what? Under development. You are developing one new project in your company. It is under which phase? Development phase. Once you complete your phase, you are releasing the project. So the company people, the client people is using your project. That is under which level? Implementation level. What is implementation level? A project is being used by the end user. Is known as what? Implementation level. Okay, right. So coming to the point of it, I hope so. This is clear for you. These are compile time errors are clear, my dear students who are in the online. Is it clear? Quickly, say quickly. So I want quick response from you people. Very nice, students. Next, I will go to next part here. At the end of the class, we must be so perfect in exceptions, logical errors. Tell me, students, I'll go to my part of this program. Now I'm asking, sorry, not here. I'll go to this paint. I'm asking, somebody give, calculate a plus b by 2, a plus b by 2, a plus b by 2. This is the requirement. A plus b by 2. This is my statement. Provided when a is equal to, calculate a plus b by 2 when a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 3 and b is equal to 3. Calculate. What one student understand? See here, dear students. What one of the student understand? What other student understand? I am writing here. Logic number 1 and logic number 2. Logic number 1 and logic number 2. We are going to talk about it. What is there in this place? What one of the student is doing? C is equal to, he was written a plus b by 2, he is writing. A plus b by 2, like that he wrote. One student has written. And another student has written what? C is equal to a plus b by 2, he will write. And according to my mathematics representation, and especially Python students, data science people who are becoming, they must understand the logic, mathematical equations. Budmas rule you need to understand. What is the meaning of a plus b divided by 2? First logic, second logic? Second logic is required. Second logic is suitable. First logic is wrong representation, wrong understanding. Because of this, what is the answer is coming, my dear students? What is the answer is coming, ma? C is equal to 10 plus 3 by 2. What is the answer is coming here? 10 plus 1.5, which is equal to what? Which is equal to what? 11.5. 11.5. Did you understand? Fine. You come on to this place, students. Another logic is what here you see. Answer I am talking about it. Answer I am talking about it. What is an answer here? C is equal to of 10 plus 3 by what? 2. What is the answer here? C is equal to 13 by 2. What is an answer? C is equal to what? 6.5 is an answer, which is according to the mathematics representation. According to the mathematics representation, this is a correct. Of course, I am not talking about the according to the logic representation of yours. Each one answer is correct, but given problem is correct or not, you need to check. So let us go to the Python environment, students. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 3, C is equal to what I am doing? A plus B by 2. A plus B by 2. What happens, ma? A. Okay. By 2. Print of what? See, answer is what? This is one thing. Next I am saying A is equal to 10, B is equal to 3, C is equal to what? A plus B by what? 2. So answer is what? Print of what? C. You see the answer called what? 6.5 is an answer. 6.5 is an answer. Are you able to get me? So which answer you believe that according to the problem, which answer is correct? So second answer is going to be correct, accurate, that is. So if anybody says for this formula, if anybody says this, it is definitely wrong or not? Which is the wrong here? Logic is wrong. Because of logic error, what is becoming wrong? Logic is becoming wrong. Am I correct? So coming to my dear students, I'm going to give you the clarity. Wrong output will be coming. So let us go to the program here. Logical errors are those. Logical errors are those. I'm writing here. I write here. Logical errors are those. Logical errors are those which are occurring during what time? Execution time. Execution time. Also called as what? Runtime. Logical errors are those. Logical errors are those which are occurring. Logical errors are those which are occurring during what time? Execution time or what time? Runtime. Perfect. Now, who will solve these logical errors? Logical errors are those which are occurring during execution time, I said. Do you know execution time? Do you know execution time? Yes, tell me what is that execution time? I forget. .pyc bytecode read by PVM converted into what? Native understanding format of OS, which is known as what time? Execution time. Understand that? Compilation means what? .py converted into what? .pyc is called what? Compilation time. .pyc converted into what? Native machine understandable code. It is known as what? Executable code we can call. Understand? Executable time we can call. Execution time we can call. So come on to the students here. Logical errors are those which are occurring due to what? Execution time. Logical errors are those which are occurring due to, I am writing, are occurring or occurs due to wrong representation of, let me write a perfect word, wrong representation of what? Logic. Wrong representation of logic. Able to follow me or not? Wrong representation of logic. That is the incorrect representation of logic. Wrong formulas representation. Because of that, you will get this logical errors. See, I am giving errors, what time they are occurring, why they are occurring, and I am writing everything. And one point I would like to write, logical errors always gives what? Wrong result. Always gives what? Wrong result. And they must be solved by, who will solve? Solved by, come on students, solved by whom? Programmers. Solved by programmers. At what time? Development time only. At what time only you will solve? Development time only you will solve it. During your program development time only you need to solve it. Other than that, you can't submit your project with wrong results. Understand, students? Good. Now coming to that, it is very simple for the people to understand. How many types of errors? Quickly, everybody should say. How many types of errors? 3 types. What are those? Compile time errors, CTE. So, online students, CTE, compile time error, for your things to type it quickly. Logical errors, LE, RTE means runtime errors. But outside, don't tell this abbreviated form. For charting students who are charting quickly, I am saying that. CTE, RTE, and LE. Logical errors are occurring because of what? Wrong representation of logic. Now I am going to, actually in exception handling, compile time errors will not come under exception handling. Logical errors will not come under exception handling. Exception handling always deals with what? Yes, this is so powerful. Of course, I don't want to boast about myself. You take yourself and everybody. Compile time errors are occurring because at what time? Due to what? Not followed. Logical errors are occurring in what time? Due to what? Wrong representation of logic. Tell me, runtime errors also occurring at what time? Execution time only. The name itself says. Runtime errors occurs at what time? Runtime errors occurs at what time? Execution time or runtime. Now, once again I will repeat. Compile time errors are occurring due to syntaxes are not followed. Logical errors are occurring due to wrong representation of logic. Wrong representation of logic. And now I am saying that runtime errors occurs due to, yes, anybody? Due to. Compile time errors are occurring due to what? Syntax is not followed. Logical errors occurs due to wrong representation of logic. Runtime errors occurs due to. Nobody can able to say, but everybody knows that runtime errors, compile time errors, runtime errors. That is like a dialogue they will remember. All right, fine. So coming to the point of it, Of course, I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm just giving you, because of lack of knowledge, the people who trained you, they will not explain why runtime errors are coming, because I will show you in real time. This is a matters a lot. Now I am giving. See students, runtime errors occurs due to wrong input. Wrong input. Very, very, very important. Nothing but what? Invalid inputs. Invalid inputs entered by end users. End users. Or what, end users are nothing but what, application users. Application users. So see students, runtime errors occurs due to wrong or invalid inputs entered by end user or application users. What do you mean by that, sir? Can you give more clarity, sir? Let us enter into the normal application level. You take your phone, first beginning with your phone. You can understand quickly what I am example saying. So to go to your home screen, what you need to enter? To go to your home screen, what you need to enter? Surya, infinite loops are nothing but it is a logic problem. Infinite loops and all those things are called Surya. It is called a logic related problem. Logical error, that is called. Come on. What you will enter? 4-digit pin number or pattern, you will go for it or not? So you will take your home screen and home screen is visible. What are you doing? You are an end user, right or not? You are entering intentionally wrong pattern, you are entering a wrong password, you are entering. That time what you will get it? Just think about it. What is coming? Invalid pin. Try again, you will get or run. That you take it. Invalid pin. Try again. That means the mobile software developer has written one beautiful code internally. What is that code? Whenever they enter which input? Wrong input. He has ready to give one message with. He is ready to give one message to you. That message is called user-friendly error message. Because the end user has to understand the mistakes what he did. End user has to understand the messages what he did. It is known as what? User-friendly error messages. Say all of you. User-friendly error messages. All the people in the online, type it. UFEM. Okay, Anuj, very good. You are inventing full forms. User-friendly error messages. UFEM. And to chart with me quickly, user-friendly error messages. Very nice. Once again, I am saying, okay, you entered. Take one more time. You are going for PhonePe to pay something to somebody else. What it is asking again? PIN. What are you entering again? Wrong you are entering. What it asks you? Invalid PIN. Try again. What is that meaning? Whenever you are entering wrong input by the end user, it is asking once again to enter or not. It is giving some message for you, which you are understanding. And behind of giving this user-friendly message, some code was written or not. That code is written with respect to what? Exception handling concept we are going to say. Go on taking some more thing. Take one more example. You went to ATM center. You have a card with you. Very hurry, you need to earn some 20,000. You went to some ATM center, kept your card. And how you kept your card without seeing anything? Just put your card. And it is saying, remove the card and insert properly. Why it is saying that? Because you kept in which direction? Wrong direction you kept it. So anything you do the mistake, the software what you are interacting is suggesting you how you need to interact. That is the beauty of which concept? Exception handling. So even though person don't know how to interact with an application, whenever you do commit mistake by yourself, it is assisting you. It is helping you how to interact with it. When my project is doing the type of assistance for the end user, is my project is strong or weak? Is my project is strong or weak? Come on, quickly. It is definitely strong. It is definitely robust. Robust means what? Strong enough to handle errors of end users. Are you able to get my points? Suppose if you did some mistake, it is not saying anything, just it is stopping it. It is just stopping it. It is not saying anything. Just a card is coming out without saying anything. What do you think? You think that it is a useless ATM. You don't know anything how to process it. And you will tell to many people, this is very weak ATM. And next time you will not visit to that place. If some of the ATM centers, some of the softwares, it is saying for anything you do mistake, it is helping you how to you are supposed to interact. First of all, are you following? That means internally in the software projects, anything the end user will do committing mistake, they will study already that mistakes. What mistakes the end user is going to commit. Example, I am developing an ATM application. I will definitely think that end user may enter wrong PIN number. When end user enter wrong PIN number, what should I do? I should tell him that some error message has to be given by stopping my program execution. Am I correct or not? So without entering PIN number, I cannot move forward. So you will keep the card and insert properly. And next is asking what PIN number. PIN number also you entered wrong. Immediately it is giving wrong PIN number, enter correctly. You liked that project. Enter correct PIN number and asking withdraw amount. You choosing the withdraw. You have only 10,000 in your account, but you are choosing 20,000. Will that ATM application will give you? It will not give you. What are you doing continuously? Continuously, what are you entering? Wrong inputs you are entering. Card kept in wrong direction. PIN number entered wrong. Amount you are entering wrong. These are all called mistakes of which user? End user. So end user is committing mistake. Your software is suggesting what mistakes you are doing. Is it not strong enough? You take Gmail, you take it. Gmail, you take it. Whenever you enter a username or password is wrong, what it is giving? Invalid username and invalid password. Try again or not? What is that messages are called? User-friendly error messages. Which messages? Yes. Who will give that user-friendly error messages? My project has to give the user-friendly error messages. When I have to give the user-friendly error messages? When the end user commits a mistake, when the end user enters a wrong input to my application, it is the responsibility of my application to give which messages? User-friendly error messages. Error messages. User-friendly error messages. Spell out. Come on. Whenever the end user commits mistake, your project has to definitely give which messages? User-friendly error messages, so that end user will realize that he entered wrong input. To do this type of invalid user-friendly error messages, definitely I have to use which programming? Exception handling concept. Compulsory I have to use it. In any language you take it. Compulsory I have to use what? Exception handling. One more. Last and final. Do you know, students, these user-friendly error messages are coming basically. You have written some code internally by using which concept? Exception handling. Exception handling basic aim is to always generate always which messages? User-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages is nothing but what? Plain old English messages where end user can understand very perfectly. So he will realize that he did mistake. Understand? Actually, by default, in any technology, including Python, whenever the end user commits a mistake, you will get by default from the Python environment, some messages will come. End user cannot understand that. End user cannot understand that messages, which are known as technical error messages, we can call. Spell out. By default, Java, .NET, Python, anything you take it, whenever the end user commits a mistake, by default, that language project or that language applications gives technical error messages. Who will understand technical error messages? Only programmer can understand. Who cannot understand? End user cannot understand. Who will not understand? End user cannot understand. End user cannot understand. Who will understand? Programmer only can understand. Are you okay, students? Very good. Ultimately, I am giving a clarity here. Answer my question. By default, to any technology or any language, when the end user gives the wrong inputs, by default, which message will come? By default, I said. By default, when the end user ends a invalid input, by default, you will get which messages? Technical error messages will come. Programmatically, you are using exception handling in your project. You are converting which messages? Technical error messages into what? By using which concept? Exception handling concept. So why you use exception handling in our real-time projects? We are using exception handling to convert which messages? Technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. For that purpose, I will go for what concept? You take data science project, you take artificial intelligence project, you take anything, any sort of project you take it, compulsorily you require to use exceptions. If without exceptions, if you develop any real-time project, first of all, it is not possible. How important it is? How sun rises in the east? Like that, in every project of Python, Java, .NET, any project, compulsory which concept is supposed to use? Exception handling is supposed to use. But nobody knows exception handling because some of you learned Oracle. Oracle also exception handling is there. People can't teach properly because they don't know how the industry is. Java, you take it, exception handling, zero, big zero. Because exception handling, lot of facilities are there in Java. Of course, more than the facilities of Java, Python will provide. I will teach you that. So alternatively, I'm trying to give you the concept here. Runtime errors are those which are occurring due to what? Wrong or invalid inputs entered by what? End or what? Application user. Right. Last and final. Two things are there, programmatically and default. By default, what type of messages will come? Technical error messages will come. By default means automatically. Go to the program. All the ways I will go to it. Look at A is equal to what? 10. B is equal to what? 0. C is equal to what? A by B. First line there is no problem. Second line there is no problem. End user is trying to give denominator as a 0. Am I correct? Is the PVM is able to process that? No. PVM is saying, I cannot do programmer because you are supplying the 0 as a denominator. Anything by 0 is in mathematics is what? Infinity. In Python it is called what? Zero division error. Spell out once. I will explain this very perfectly. See that the moment I press enter key, you will get some message where end user cannot understand, but I can understand. See that you will get some message. This message is called what? See, study first of all. What is this message, ma? This message. Who will understand? Programmer can understand. Who cannot understand? End user cannot understand. So if I give these messages to the end user, by default, which messages are coming? Technical error messages are coming. Is this messages normal person can understand? So what is your responsibility today? Convert technical error message like this into what? By using which concept? You tell me, if I do that conversion, my project is strong or weak? Strong. If I don't convert, my project is what? So from now onwards, every Python project will need to give which messages? Every Python project from now onwards needs to give which messages? User-friendly error messages. Not recommended to give which messages? Technical? Good. What is the definition of exception? If you really follow me, what is the definition of exception handling? The name itself says exception handling. The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is known as what? You define the same thing in Java, same thing in .NET, everywhere else the same concept you apply. Because when you learn Python, half of the Java subject you will get it in my class. Because Java and Python is running parallelly, and nowadays it is just coming to top of the index in the Python in the industry now. So TIOB says that only. So coming to the point of it, now I am going to slowly coming into the picture. This type of messages, how to convert it, we are having in the index part. You see, in the index part, you see types of keywords for handling the exception. See here, try is there, except is there, else is there, finally is there, rise is there. Using those things, we will use an appropriate syntax and we will convert it. Okay, ma? So shall I move forward? Students, are you able to understand? Shall I move forward? Students, are you able to understand clearly? Quickly. Not getting end user, sir. Okay. End user is nothing but Ganesh. End user is nothing but a layman who don't know any technical aspect. Ganesh. End user is nothing but a person who don't have any technical expertise. Every bank clerk is called what? End user. When we go to ATM center, we are called what? End user. Am I correct? So, Ganesh, are you there? So, coming to the point of it, I hope you are understanding what is the end user. So, shall I move to the further now? Tell me, runtime errors are those which are occurs due to what? Wrong or invalid inputs entered by whom? That means, if I want to make my application to give which messages? User-friendly error messages. Definitely, programmer must have forecasting knowledge. Forecasting knowledge means what? Example, weather forecasting. What do you mean by weather forecasting? Hyderabad, the weather forecasting center says tomorrow some places rain will come. Like that they will forecast. So that time rain will not come. That time rain will not come because subject is outdated. They got the subject outdated. When rain comes means rain has to come. That is subjective. Okay, we will leave them. We are technical people. When exception is coming, we need to handle it. That means before we start developing the project, we need to study their requirements, end user requirements. We will go to the bank. We will talk to managers. We'll talk to clerical people. We'll talk to different people. What is the expectations of those people? What are the mistakes committed by the end user? We will record all those things. We will mention all those things and we start writing the code. What I got from that clerical people, they says, sir, when the end user went to the ATM center, you will keep the card in reverse order. You will keep the card in reverse order. When the card is in reverse order, definitely I will read the card number. I will compare with the original number. If they are not equal, I will say that what? Card is kept in reverse order. Please remove it and put it in proper order. And you may ask a question, sir, original number is equal to reverse number. You take any banking. This is the logic we follow in the industry. Any banker is giving the card number. Definitely reversed number is not equal to the original number. You keep it. That is the logic we follow. These are all certain type of predefined formulas in the banking sector. Are you able to get my students? Come on to the point of it. What I'm going to say? Word called forecasting knowledge. What do you mean by forecasting knowledge? When I'm releasing my project after 1 year, today onwards, I'm going to study which mistakes the end user is committing. Those mistakes I will address in my project. I try to withdraw 20,000 rupees, but I have only 10,000 rupees. What is the condition I will write it? If withdraw amount greater than your available balance, I will say what? I will raise an exception. Stop the execution and say that what? Insufficient fund exception. I will raise an error. Because when your ATM center is giving 20,000, when you have 10,000, everybody will come and withdraw or not. So problem na. So what I need to do, when something is doing mistake by the end user, I will stop my execution immediately and I will come out and I will give which messages? User-friendly error messages programmatically. By default, which messages will come? Very good. I hope that these application user mistakes studied by whom? Programmer. And he will address that problems. He will address that type of problems in the coding only. At which level? In the development only. That means what are the errors are occurred by the application user is at the time of using my application. That is implementation level. Those errors also addressed in where? in our real-time project. I hope you are understanding. What is the end user commits the mistakes? That type of related code is already addressed in my project. This is the last point is important. So runtime errors are addressed by programmers. Addressed by whom? Programmers. Addressed by programmers during which level? Development time. Runtime errors are addressed by programmers during development time. That means what errors are occurring at runtime, which are addressed by development time, which is nothing but converting their mistakes into which messages? User-friendly error messages. Did you understand? Now I will prepare some number of points. Up to here, what you heard about it? Compile time errors, there is no much importance. Logical errors, no much importance. But runtime errors, we have a very big importance is there in the industry. So let me prepare those points one by one. If you really understand me, tell me one by one in the class. When do you get runtime errors? First point I will write, when do you get runtime errors? Come on, students, you tell me. All the students in the online, tell me quickly. Come on, ma. When do you get runtime errors? When do you, wrong inputs? Irfan, very good, ma. Irfan, very good. So I'm going to say, when the application user, you must understand me, I'm preparing a bullet points. When the application user, what is this? Enters. What input? Invalid input. Then we get, when the application user enters, which input? Invalid input. We get which errors? Very good. Runtime errors. Point by point I will write. After you say understand, then I will move forward. All the students in the online, be in the class until my total class is over. If anybody leave in the middle of the session by sleeping or something, we can't do anything else. Next class you cannot follow. That is a damn sure. Because the class I will take up to 5:45 I will take. So be careful. Try to be in the class carefully. When the application user enters which input? We get which errors? Right. Is this point is clear? Quickly, all the students in the online, quickly, this point I need to know. Right. Very good. Next, I will go for next one. Second point, I'm going to write it. Second point, carefully understand. What is this? When the application user enters invalid input, we get what? Runtime errors. Now, students, by default, runtime errors gives which type of messages? Very good, students. Online students, very good. Technical error messages. By default, runtime errors gives technical error messages, right? Which are understandable by, come on, ma, which are understandable by whom? Understandable by, 1 minute, ma. Understandable by programmers, but not by, come on, ma, but not by, very good, but not by end users. So is that project is strong or weak? Are you knowing English? Is that project is strong or weak? This one, by default, your messages are what? Technical error messages, which are understandable by whom? Who is not understanding? Is it strong or weak? Then why you said strong? First of all, are you strong or weak? Strong, physically strong. But this is problem. Physically so strong, I know, you will jump also, you will do feats also. But technically not strong. Okay. So online students, are you strong or weak? Okay, very strong. Yeah, your answers make me very strong. Very good. Your answers make me very strong, students. Right. Oh, very good. Very good. So they are very strong in all round development. Very good. Now, come on to the second point I am going to show. Second point. First point and second point clear? Because these points are very important. Daily I will open these points like a formulas these are. When the application user enters which input, we get which errors? By default, what is happening, ma? Okay. By default, runtime errors. By default, one is missing, ma. Runtime errors are understandable by whom? Something is missing, ma. Something is missing. By default, runtime errors gives which messages? 1 minute. By default, technical error messages. By default, I will write it. By default, technical errors gives or technical errors generates which messages? Technical error messages. Technical error messages. And they are understandable by programmers. Understandable by whom? Programmers, but not by end users. This point I would like to write it. End users. Clear? Fine. So next I am going to write it one more point. Now I am saying beautiful point. Students, see. Definition of exception I am going to give you. Definition of what? Exception. I am going to give you definition of exception. Because this exception handling actually so easy when you just carefully listen it. What is the definition of exception, sir? You know, every runtime error is called what? Exception. Every runtime error is called exception. Understand? Why runtime errors are coming? I will keep one small equation for your better understanding. What is this? Invalid input gives what? Runtime errors. Every invalid input gives what? Runtime error. Runtime errors are known as what today? Exception. Hence, every invalid input is called what? From now onwards, anybody enters invalid input, what is occurring? Exception. Anything you enter valid input, result will come. Anything you enter wrong input, exception will come. These 2 points you remember. Once again, every invalid, when the end user enters invalid input, what is error? Runtime errors by default generates what? They are understandable by whom? But not by. Excellent. What is the definition of exception? Every runtime error is called. Very good. What is the equation for your better understanding? Invalid input gives runtime errors called. Hence, every invalid input is called. I will write there on. Hence, every invalid input gives what? Exception. Every invalid input gives exception. So see, students, how careful this is only for your better understanding. I wrote, ma. So you try to understand and don't try to escape in understanding these points, because these are called a bullet point for you, and how important these are. Not imagine in this of Python, everywhere else you try to study, this is going to be the same. Students, is the third point is clear? Students, is the third point is clear? Everybody? Right. Very good. Coming to the fourth point, I am going to talk. Fourth point I am going to talk. Come on to the fourth point. Every invalid input gives exception. Reading Python notes well. Reading Python notes well is called what input? Correct input. Reading Python input is called what input? See the online student, they will give you like anything. Valid input gives what? Job. Result will come, result. Valid input gives result. Am I correct? Not reading Python notes, what is it? Exception. Error, no. Rocky, that is correct. Not reading Python notes, it is called what? Exception. Exception means what? Technical error message. Technical error message means no job. No job means you cannot go to any friends, functions. You will not go anywhere. Even if you go to functions, if not all relatives went, you will go. You will stand some corner and you will eat and you will come. If somebody is seeing, you will keep like that and you will jump away. Like that. If job is there, if anybody is coming, you will go and meet opposite to them because you want to expose by yourself that you are a software engineer. So everybody will praise you. To praise everybody, what do you need? Job is required. To get a job, what is required? Brahmani, yes ma. Em chestunnavani adutaru. Okay. That is natural. Brahmani is saying very perfectly. Right. Right. Subject required. That's why if you have a subject, you will get so many companies. You will get offer letter, offer letter, offer letter. Finally, you will ask me, sir, which company I have to go, sir? So it's a great, na? So to do all these things, what is required? Subject is required. Subject is required. Without subject, no jobs will come. That's it. Come on to the point of it. Invalid input gives. Runtime error gives. Okay. That reading Python note, that is general awareness. Come to the ATM application. I kept my card reverse order. What is it? Exception. I kept my card in reverse order is not invalid, nama. Invalid is not even what? Exception. When exception comes by default, what message will come? Technical error message. Why? By default, runtime errors are giving which messages? Okay. Now, every exception by default generates. Every exception by default generates. Which message? Technical error message. Technical error message. Did you understand, students? Every message, every exception by default generates what? Yes, which are not understandable by. Again, I will write it. They are understandable by whom, but not by whom. Yes. Hence, industry recommends. Come on, ma. Industry recommends. What it recommends? Convert which messages? Technical error messages into. Come on, ma. Beautiful. User friendly. Error messages. User friendly by using. Which one? Exception handling concept. By using exception handling concept. Exception handling concept purpose is what? Converting what? Technical error messages into user friendly error messages. If my project will do like that, it is my project is strong or weak? Strong. So to build my strong applications by giving user friendly error messages, which concept I have to learn? Yes. Now I am going to ask you. Fifth one is called what, you know, students? Definition of what? Exception handling. Definition of exception handling. My dear students, I am going for definition of exception handling. So definition of exception handling I am going for. Definition of exception handling I am going for. Tell me, my dear students, what should I do? The process of, come on, ma, converting technical error messages into user friendly error messages. User friendly error messages is called exception handling. is called what, ma'am? Beautiful. The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is called what? Very good. Clear or not clear? Very good. Now I'm going to give you the clarity. Students who are in the online, is it understandable, my dear students? Is this definition is clear? Very good. Is your confidence is increasing? Is your confidence is increasing now? Come on to the point of it. Fine. Coming to this now. Coming to the next line I am going for. Okay. Good. Okay. Now coming to the next point I am going for. Second point. Let me explain all the points. I will ask you. The exception handling you will write just left hand, left finger. I will take you to the development of a programmer defined exception. It is not a joke. You will develop like anything. We are going for ATM application development. That means you can understand how beautiful coding you will write it. Coding is your life, students. Keep in mind. Come on to the point of it. In next sixth point, I am going to explain. When an exception occurs, this is also one beautiful point, ma. When an exception occurs, internally 3 points takes place. When an exception occurs, internally 3 steps takes place. 3 steps takes place. So people will ask a question. What happens when exception occurs internally? What happens when exception is occurring? We say straightforward, technical error message will come by default. Or otherwise, programmatically, what message will come? User-friendly error message will come. That is 2 things we will say. Am I correct? When exception comes, either a technical error message will come or what? If my program is so strong, which message will come? Okay. If my program doesn't have any exception handling, my messages are what? That's it. Come on to that. When an exception occurs internally, 3 steps takes place. What are those, sir? They are first point I am writing, ma. First point, second point, third point. Let us see programmatically. Go. I will go to my program. Beautiful. I'll go to my program, students. With the program only, I will speak everything. Okay. See, students. Example1.py. Example1.py. Beautiful. A is equal to 10, ma. B is equal to 0. C is equal to A by B. C is equal to A by B. I say print of program execution starts. Program execution starts. Program execution starts. Beginning of the program. See, my dear students. This is called to assume. Here I say print value of A is equal to dot format of A. Next, print value of B is equal to format of B. Next, I am writing div is equal to I am writing what here? C. Okay. And then program execution ends. Program execution ends. That means in middle of it, what is going on? Some block of statements are executing or not. That means my PVM is so smooth. My PVM is so comfortable. Program execution completed successfully. That means beginning to ending successfully executed without any difficulties. Come on, students. When PVM starts executing from here, PVM felt that there is no input problems in this. There is no logic problem in this. No kind of problem in this. Successfully started and successfully completed its execution. Am I correct? Okay, students. See, my dear students, save this question, save this point, understand very, very carefully. You see, 4 p.m. I create, what is this now? I say here, exceptions. Inside the exceptions, I'll save my program called ex1.py. Coming to the command prompt here, you see kvr python 4 p.m. exceptions. Yes, here. Then you execute you execute py, say ex1 dot py. Here what is happening? There was no problem at all. My PVM sum completely executing without any problem. Successfully executed or not? Why it is able to execute successfully? Because my end user has supplied which input? Valid input. Are they okay, students? Okay. Now see, my dear students, all of a sudden I am passing what value? 0. Always keep in mind, my dear students, from now onwards, if I enter any input, you ask me, sir, enter wrong input and show me. That is the way to increase your programming. Enter the account number 1, 2, 3, 4. Sir, you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC you enter, sir. What will happen? You ask me. I feel more happy for it. If you ask in your college, they will say, tell me your number, we will cut your internal marks. Because of that, what will happen? Jobs will not come. Jobs will go. And this type of programming, nobody can teach. Even you see other places, enter the roll number. I am entering the name as roll number place, I am entering the name. But in real time, that is required to test or not? You developed a project for me, employee payroll application you developed. Instead of salary, I am entering string data because I am testing how strong you developed it. If you say, sir, don't enter like that, you enter salary only, means I say, who are you to tell? I will enter whatever I like it. Show your strongness in the programming, I say. Am I correct or not? Yes. So, coming to the point of it, now save this code. Come on, my dear students, start. Line number 2, no problem. PVM successfully understand. Line number 3, no problem, successfully understand. Line number 4 also, no problem, successfully understand the input. Line number 5 comes, PVM got angry. Angry. And don't tell in interview, angry. Angry in the sense PVM got what? Got immediately what? 10 by what? 0, 10 by 0, 10 by 0, 10 by 0, defined or undefined. This is known as valid input or invalid input. Invalid input in Python is called dash. Exception. Already I told you, if you don't remember, I can't do anything. Invalid, every invalid input is called what? Every invalid input exception gives what messages? That is what I am saying. Whenever an exception is occurring, internally, 3 steps are taking place. A, B, C steps are taking place. Number 1, program execution is abnormally terminated. Then and there the program execution terminated. First one is abnormally termination is taking place. Second one is PVM control comes out of the program flow. Just it is jumping out of the program flow. It won't execute the statements. When you enter PIN number wrong, is it asking enter the amount to withdraw? When you enter PIN number wrong, it will stop the process and it will come out. Card will come out. PVM comes out of the program execution, immediately gives which message by default? Technical error message will come. Which message will come? By default, technical error message will come. How many points are occurring? Whenever an exception occurring in my Python program, 3 points are taking place. Number 1, abnormal termination. Abnormal termination means what? Not the beginning to ending completion. That is nothing but what? Abnormal termination. Simply listening the class. All of a sudden some problem is happening. You will leave the class. That is called which termination? Beginning to ending you are applying and I said class is over, you are leaving. That is which completion? Successful completion. Are you understanding? A student completed BTech first year to 4th year without any problem. That is called what? Successful completion. A student failed 20 times and backlogs, everything, university recorded that he is a ultimate student. So what is happening is called what? Abnormal terminated student or not? Finally, I am going to give you the clarity. When an exception is occurring, how many steps are taking place? 3. Number 1, program execution is abnormally terminated. Second step is what? PVM comes out of the program flow and generates by default which message? Technical error message. Are you okay, students? Understandable? Once again, which line exception is occurring? 5th line exception is occurring. Because of which one exception is occurring? Because of what exception is occurring? Already I told you, what are you doing, students? What are you doing? I don't understand. See, already I told, because of what? Invalid input, except runtime error, exception. Hence, every invalid input gives. Where are you pointing, first of all? Are you following or not? Come on, tell me. Which line exception is occurring? Which line? Fifth line. When exception is occurring, what is the message coming by default? Before giving the technical error message, what has to be done internally? Number one, abnormal termination is required. Number two, PVM comes out of the program flow. Comes out of the program flow means 6, 7, 8, 9 will not execute. Yes or no? Then it comes to what? Gives which message immediately? PVM send one message on our face saying that you have entered wrong thing. What is that wrong thing? I don't understand. I am sending one message. Suffer with it. Execute. See, my dear students, execute. See this message. Everything more practical, students. See, all of you. Program execution starts. See this message, please. And at which line? This message is what message? Which message? Who will not understand? End user. Who will understand? Yes. Is it recommended to give us such messages? No. Recommended to give which messages? What is the message I am going to give you next class only? Don't enter 0 for denominator. Don't enter 0 for denominator. What is that message? Even a small kid also can understand. Oh, I entered 0 for denominator. Anything by 0 is called infinity. In Python mathematics, it is called which error? And this is giving some message what Python knows. I am a Python programmer. I can convert Python technical error messages into what? Small, plain old English message I will convert it. Small English messages I will convert it, which is known as what? User-friendly error messages we can call. Did you understand my point, students? Tell me. Now I am going to give you. How many points are taking place? Number one. Program execution. Abnormal. Program execution terminated abnormally. Program execution terminated abnormally. First point. Second point, PVM comes out of program flow. PVM comes out of program flow without executing, come on, rest of the statements. Without executing, rest of the statements, students. Very easy, rest of the statements. Okay. Rest of the statements will not execute. Okay, sir. Next, tell me, what is next? PVM generates which messages? Very good. PVM generates technical error messages by default. Technical error messages by default, or in the beginning I will write it. By default PVM generates. I will write here. By default PVM generates which messages? Excellent. Is it recommended to generate technical error messages? No. Recommended to generate which messages? Yes. Up to the 6 points clear? All the students in the online, is the 6 points are clear? Clear? Yes. Good. Now I am going to the 7th point. 7th point I am going to explain. 7th point. Fine. So now 7th point I am going to give you the clarity. Shall we go to 7th point? Right. So, right. Yes, Renko. So user-friendly error messages I must give it. Very good. So now I am introducing one very big point I am going to introduce. In Python, everything must be stored in the form of what? In Python, everything must be given in the form of what? Okay, you are seeing. Sir is removed. Sir will do what next time? Want to take water. I want to take water. That's why I removed my mask. Okay, let me take. Okay, so they are saying, see the answers. Okay, I taken water. Now continue. Come on, start. Objects. Objects. In Python, everything stored in the form of everything performed by using objects. Without objects, there is no Python programming. Where we learned this? From when onwards we learned? From the day number 4 onwards, we learned this. From the platform independent of Python onwards, we learned that day onwards, everything stored in the form of objects. Objects are the biggest components in the programming of OOPS. So from the beginning onwards, Python organizes the data in the objects. Behind of objects, who is there? Classes. So you know so many classes so far. I can write some hundreds of classes so far what we discussed. Okay. Now come on to the 7th point. Do you know, students, to perform ABC steps, what is the first step? To terminate the program execution abnormally, something is required. To make the PVM to come out of the program execution without executing the rest of the statement, some component, some object is required. Because when PVM want to do anything, object is required for that. When PVM want to do anything, you have to do with object. Even in normal life also, anything you want to do, you have to do with object only. You want to sleep. You want to sleep. What you will do? S is equal to what you will do? Sleep. What is S? Not getting. L, how do you create an object of list? L is equal to what? How do you create a tuple? Tuple of? Yes or no? How do you create a set? Set of? How do you create a dict? Dict of? How do you sleep? Sleep of. S is equal to sleep of. S is equal. How do you create a list? L is equal to list of. How do you create a tuple? T is equal to tuple of. How do you do a sleep? S is equal to sleep of. Okay, sleep of correct. But sleep of no. S is equal to sleep of. What is S? I expect what I am saying, you also should say. That is what is, I will accept that. How do you eat? How do you eat? E is equal to eat off. E is equal to eat off. What are you doing? L is equal to listen off. Yes or no? Anything you do in Python, you have to create what? Object you have to create. You have to create an object. Sharath, very good, ma'am. Sleep is a class. S is an object of sleep class. L is an object of which class? List class. We already learned beginning only. In data types only we are good in that. Okay. Now coming to that. We are going to become very shortly extraordinary student when I introduce OOPS. When I go for that, we will become an extraordinary student when I go to the OOPS level. When I go to the OOPS level. Come to the point back now. I'm going to give you the clarity on this area. Come on to the point. When an exception occurs, internally 3 steps takes place. They are program execution terminated abnormally, PVM comes out of program flow without executing rest of statements. By default, PVM generates what messages? Perfect. Dear students, to perform, to do, I'll write it because the 7th point, if it is bouncing your head, you cannot understand in lifetime. That's why very carefully I want to explain. To do A comma B and then what? C steps. To do A, B, C steps. To do A, B, C steps. PVM creates one object. PVM creates SEMA to program execution. I want to abnormally terminate. PVM definitely expect one object to create. Are you getting my point? Suppose I entered pin number wrong, ma. It is abnormally terminating or not? To terminate that execution abnormally, internally one object is created. Internally one destroyer is required to kill the process, to stop the process, create something. Come on. Next I'm going to do what? PVM comes out of the program flow. How to do that? I want to create an object. By default, to generate the technical error message, I need one object. That's why. To do ABC steps, I am writing PVM creates an object. This is the point. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. This is the very important point. Appropriate exception class object is created. That means for every type of problem, there is one exception class is there. What is the problem I got just now? What is the problem I got in my program, students? You see line number 5. What is this input, ma? What is that input, ma? Invalid input or not? Is it invalid input or not? Invalid input is nothing but what type of problem it is? Generally in English, what is that problem? Zero division problem or not? That is a divide by zero. Divide by which problem? Zero problem it is. Divide by zero problem is nothing but what? Invalid input is nothing but what? When an exception is occurring, what are the steps are performing? To perform these 3 steps, what is internally created? One object is created. That object is object of which class? Zero division error. Zero division error. See, Z capital, D capital, E capital. Because that is known as what? Hungarian notation we can call, or camel case notation we can call. Java will follow the same thing. Python will follow the same thing. .NET will follow the same thing. All sorts of languages will follow camel case notation for representing the name of the class. In simple word, when an exception is occurring, to do that ABC steps, one object only will create to perform all the 3 steps. Did you understand? Tell me, what is a zero division error, my dear students? Zero division error is a name of the exception class, which is happening, whose object is created by default when which problem is taking place? Division by zero problem is taken place. Division by zero problem is taken place. Invalid input, it is called exception. Which message is coming? One more example I will show you, my dear students. One more exception I will show you. Let us see. Shortcut I will show you. Go to the Python environment. All of a sudden you say 10 by 0. What is the message? What is zero division error? Exception class name. Say, whose object created automatically by PVM when denominator is what? 0. Okay. Next you go to one more example. Instead of that, one more example I will go for it. Take the example number 2. Because to understand this message, I have to definitely discuss some time. Because exception handling is so complicated. Because understanding the errors, this is the topic. Tell me, example 2, say A is equal to 100. Can I convert into integer? Typecasting is over, na? In my class, typecasting over or not over? I explained int typecasting separately, float typecasting separately, big examples I gave. Can I convert this A is equal to 100 within the double quotes into integer or not? Yes. How do you do, ma? X is equal to int of what? A. Print of what, my dear students? Value of Z is equal to what? Dot format of what? Z. Okay. See, student. Okay. Execute, please. Execute, please. I say, go to the place, E colon 4 p.m. example 2 exception example 2.py. Okay, beautiful. Go to the place of it, py example 2. Perfectly converted or not? Okay, sir. Very good, sir. Go. I say 100 kVr. Is it able to convert or not? Already in the typecasting only we learned. Is it a valid input or invalid input? Is it a proper input or improper number? Is the improper number is converted by PVM at the line number 3? What input it is? Beautiful. Invalid input. Invalid input means what? Exception. Exception occurring means what to do? ABC steps. To do ABC steps, what to create? Object. Object need what? Exception class. Object need generally class. Here object need what class? Exception class. Sir, what is the difference between normal class and exception class? Normal class will provide smooth execution. Exception class will provide abnormal termination. Understand? Normal class will provide smooth execution. Exception class will provide abnormal termination. Am I clear? Immediately what is happening? Here a exception is occurring. What is that exception? Value error. Spell out. When you will get value error? Whenever I am trying to do the operations on invalid numbers, invalid number formats, you will get which exception? Value error. Spell out. What is value error? It is the class name. It is a class name. See, Rohit, Samir, Rakesh, you have to write value error like this. You see student, my dear student, you have to write. I told you already, V capital, R capital. If a class name contains two words, all the words first letters are capital. That is called a Hungarian notation. Which notation? Value error. V capital, E capital. If you give your own space between that, it is called 100%, 200% error. Wrong that is. So you have to write value error. So all of you should keep your concentration very well. Now let us execute ma. Remove that and execute. See, one beautiful exception will come. Execute. See, my dear students, see, this is called which message? Technical error message. Which line? What is the error exception name? Very good. Line number 3, go. See, it is how beautiful Python language is. Line number 3. Which error? Are you able to convert? No. Come on. Invalid format of the number. Converting. Which exception? Value error. Division by 0 problem. Which exception? 0 division error. Which error? Okay. Now you see, now I will pass it. 100. Now I am writing. Int. Now I am writing. Int comma something like ABC. Int comma ABC. Actually, int of will take only one argument or not? But I am passing how many arguments? Just to see, my dear student, what is happening here. What is that error called? When do you get type error? When you pass wrong arguments. Actually, typecasting will take only one argument. Arguments over already, functions. But you are passing wrong arguments. Which exception? Type error. Wrong operation on invalid inputs. Type error. Division by 0. 0 division error. Anything you do mistake, it is called exception. Yes or no? Come on to the point. Come on to the point. Here I am going to give you the clarity. Here I am going to give you the clarity. To do A, B, C steps, PVM creates what? Object of appropriate exception. I hope you are understanding. Good. Come on to the point. Last and final, I am writing it. I am writing whenever an exception is occurring, when an exception occurs, I want to wait for it. When an exception occurs, then PVM, when an exception occurs, what PVM will create? PVM will create an object of appropriate exception class. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class, and program execution abnormally terminated. PVM comes out of it. I will write those points once again, because in all round development I want to. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception and program execution comma program execution abnormally terminated. PVM comes out of the program flow. Next is called what? By default generates which messages? And PVM generates technical error messages. This is the point of what? When exception is occurring. Last and final. Hence, in Python, all exceptions are considered as what? All exceptions are considered as what? objects. All exceptions are considered as type error, value error, syntax error, indentation error, index error, zero division error. Have you seen index error? Module not found error, attribute error, unbound local unbound error, global function, local variable, global variable same. We have seen some errors or not? All sorts of errors are called what? Exceptions. That's why. Hence, in Python, all types of all exceptions are considered as what? And behind of objects, behind of what? Objects, there exist what? Exception class names. Exception. Yes. Last point I am writing. So therefore I am writing final conclusion. I am writing. Therefore I am writing. So normal classes provides successful execution of the program. Successful execution of program. And what next? Exception classes provides what? Exception classes provides what? Abnormal termination we require. Why police people are required? When any exception occurs somewhere, they will put it in somewhere else. They will handle differently. That is known as what? Exception classes they are. Normal public is called what? Normal classes. Don't tell this example all of a sudden in interview. Because when I say this example, immediately you are just, I got one key point, I will tell this in interview. Don't tell that. General awareness I gave you. Is it clear? These are the points for what? Exception handling points to remember. I hope you are understanding. Go on the top of it and write the meaning of it. The purpose of what? The purpose of, come on students, the purpose of exception handling is that to build which applications, my dear students? Robust applications. To build which applications? Robust applications. Robust is nothing but what, ma? Strong. Robust is nothing but what applications? Strong. So I hope that you understand this meaning. Understand, students? Yes. Is today's class is clear? So I hope today's class is clear. Students in the online, can you confirm it? Is it clear today? Right. Good. Very good. Good. Clear. Very nice. Good. So offline students, are you okay? Bodli, okay, sir? Clear? Right. See that how they are saying? Fire symbol, that symbol, this symbol, so many. Whatever the creativity is there. Once scroll down, sir. Okay. Okay. He's seeing Rocky is seeing with the specs of bodybuilding, everything. They are giving their own English compliments. They are going on giving. So like that. Arun Kumar is keeping some different symbols and seeing with a laughing symbol like that. So very good. Good. Anyhow. So done good. So today you understood. So daily we used to go very slowly. Now when new topic starts, we have to get it back to bounds. Right? So tomorrow also, I will continue these 10 points. I will ask to whomever I like these 10 points, I will ask. I will ask these 10 points, whoever I will ask, I will ask. So some of them are sitting quite differently. Sleepy, wake up, partially different way. I will ask those students, what is the 6th point, 7th point, 2nd point, 3rd point, like that I will ask. Right? So this is the way how we go for this. So how many types of errors? How many types of errors? 3 types. Okay. Exceptions are giving what messages by default? Is it necessary to generate? Recommended to generate? User-friendly error messages. To do this technical error messages to user-friendly, what should I create? What should I use it? Exception handling concept, I need to use it. Very good. So tomorrow shall we continue? Yes. So tomorrow class, as usual, we'll go for it. Okay. Thank you, students. Good day. All the best.